It's all yours.
Okay, hi. So my name is Jenny Rothschild. I am the collection engagement librarian at Arlington Public Library. I have a really fun job. Part of my job involves buying books for our youngest readers to put in the library. I also do a lot of work recommending books to people, working with our staff to help them recommend books to people. I do a lot of posts on social media about books and other things. And really just getting people excited and engaged with the library. One of the fun things about the library, though, is we are definitely more than just books. So I'm going to talk today about some of the things that we have at the library that you might not expect us to have. Definitely, there's a ton of books. You should definitely come check out our books, keep reading, but we also have other things. And I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation on my screen. So if I can I tried it before. It was fine. I figured out how to do it. Let's see if I can do it again, though. That's always the... Okay. Can you guys see my slides?
Yep.
All right. That is good to know. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, we were talking about other things you can borrow from the library beyond books. So we have what's called a library of things. And a library of things are just non-traditional. Hang on. Why isn't this going? There you go. Okay. Library of things are just non-traditional physical items that we have available for checkout. Obviously, like I said, we have the books. We have, DVDs are pretty common, even though they're not books, but most libraries have those. People expect those. We have a lot of online resources like databases. Again, those are things you probably expect. But library of things are things that go beyond what we traditionally think of library collections as having. Um, and within our library of things, we have different collections, and I'm going to talk about all of these. So we have our games and puzzles, wireless hotspots, our DIY collection, our energy devices, the tool shed, and then we have some fun things for kids as well. So we're going to start with games and puzzles for all ages, as I like to say. Um, these were uh, this collection was started with some generous funds from our friends of the Arlington Library. They were able to help us start these collections. And our friends of the Arlington Library, they do accept donations of both games and puzzles. Not all of them will be added to the collection. Some might go into our book sale, which is one of the friends' big fundraising efforts. And then they use that money to help us with our collections and also all of our programming costs throughout the library. But so with our games, the games check out for 1 week. You can renew them. And we have games for all ages, not just adults, and there are no borrowing restrictions on them. So anyone can check them out. We have over 300 games, and it's everything from classics like Candyland, chess. We have more modern classics like Settlers of Catan or Wingspan. And then we also just have a bunch of new titles. There's one called Canvas, in which you are playing that you're an artist at an art fair. Cascadia has a few different games about ecosystems and the environment in the Pacific Northwest, and one that's called A Bunch of Fun Guys, and that one's about mushrooms, and it looks really fun. I will say the picture on this slide is Splendor Duel, and that's a game I actually checked out from the library a few weeks ago, and it quickly became a family favorite at my house. I do have to say I did end up having to buy a copy because we liked it so much we didn't want to bring it back because we like playing it so much. So there is always, that possible side effect with the game collection, but it is very fun, especially if you have, I use it a lot when I have people coming to visit from out of town and try some new games for us to play. And then we also have our puzzle collection. This is a newer collection, so it's pretty small at this point. We only have about 25 in the collection. They check out for 2 weeks. You can renew them up to 3 times if nobody is waiting for them. Um, like I said, it's a smaller collection, so right now all of the puzzles range in pieces from like 350 pieces to about 1,000 pieces. So it's mostly kind of aimed at adults, unless um, you have a child who's a puzzle prodigy. But there are no borrowing restrictions, so kids can check them out. It's just most of the puzzles are more aimed at adults. The one pictured is called Better Together. It's a 1,000 piece puzzle, and I just really like this one because it has cute dogs on it. But we have a wide selection of puzzles you can also check out.
Jennifer, we've got a couple of questions
Oh, yeah,
here.
sure.
One of them is, are you interested in puzzle donations?
Yes, we do take puzzle donations. Like I said, they go to the friends, so they might not all be added to the collection, but we will look at them and see. And the ones that aren't added to the collection will go to our book sale. So they will still help the library no matter what.
Okay, and are any of the games online or on disc, or are they all
The,
physical tabletop
these are all
games?
physical board games, card games, physical games.
Okay. And you've mentioned Friends of the Library a couple of times.
Mhm.
Are the funds that they raise used exclusively at the central library, or are they spent all over the county?
Oh, they're spent all over the county. So the way that Arlington works is we don't really think of ourselves as being like 8 different libraries. We're just one library with a few different locations, with multiple locations, but we really function as one library. And so the friends do that. Like I said, they cover 100% of all of our programming costs. So that's everything from author visits to summer reading log printing for the summer reading. The carpet squares used at story time. That all comes from the friends. And they are, yeah, throughout the entire system.
Okay, and we've got a comment here that there is also a puzzle exchange through the 55 plus program.
Ooh, that's good to know too.
So, yeah, okay, that's all we got for now.
Okay. Um, so something else we have are our wireless hotspots. And these are portable devices that provide unlimited high-speed internet through a fast, secure 3G, 4G, or LTE data network that you can check out. Um, so they check out for 1 week. You cannot renew them. These are for adults, and you do have to be an Arlington resident or property owner. You have to be over the age of 18, and we do have a waiver form you have to sign. Um, we have 19 of these that circulate. You can connect up to 3 Wi-Fi devices at a time. So, if you're traveling with someone, you can both have your phones connected, or if you have like your laptop and your phone, and then like your iPad can all be connected to the hotspot at one time. They come with a case and a charger. They are from T-Mobile, and so there's coverage anywhere in the United States that T-Mobile covers. Like I said, they check out for 1 week. There are no renewals, and they do deactivate after 7 days. So keeping it longer and having it overdue, you just have a very expensive brick after that. Um, so you- yeah, they deactivate after 7 days. Okay. And then we have our DIY collection, which is really exciting. This was also started with startup funds from the Friends of the Library, and this is where we have a bunch of stuff for you to make things, to build things, crafting, or just to go out and help you explore. So we have over the DIY collection, the items check out for 2 weeks. If no one's waiting for them, you can renew them up to 3 times. They are aimed at adults, but there are no borrowing restrictions. And we have over 60 items in the collection right now. It includes everything from this case of interchangeable knitting needles. We have embroidery hoops, extension cords. If you just need an extension cord for something, we have multiple extension cords in different lengths. Binoculars to go out and explore, a wrench set, trail cameras, um, a portable, like solar powered energy device. So if you're camping and the sun hits it, and then you can plug it in and use it as a battery, stud finders, hammers, a white noise machine. There's a really wide variety of amazing things that you can explore with our DIY collection for anything you might need. Um, and then we also, whoops, our energy devices to help you save electricity. This is a fun partnership. It's with AIR, the Arlington Initiative to Rethink Energy. And so they provided a lot of the devices in this system, and they're work with other parts of the county. And they initially started with thermal imaging cameras, and they wanted people to be able, they wanted to lend these imaging cameras to people in Arlington so they could plug them into their smartphones and you can see where your heat leaks are. And you can come up and you get like this cool heat maps when you look at it. And so they kept trying to figure out the best way to do this. And then they're like, wait, the library has already figured out how to lend stuff out and get it back. They have a system in place. So instead of us trying to reinvent the wheel, why don't we partner with the library and they can circulate through the library? And it was a great partnership. So in addition to the thermal imaging cameras, we also have electricity usage monitors. So you can see if there's anything that's leaching electricity, like you have a device, you have something plugged in and it's off, but maybe it's still drawing a lot of that power through. And we have devices so you can check that. And then another really cool thing they have, we have LED light bulb sampler kits. So now we have all the LED light bulbs. They're very expensive, and you're not entirely sure which ones fit in your light. And you don't want to spend a lot of money on a light bulb that's not going to work. So you can check one of these out and try out a bunch of different light bulbs in your light fixture so you know which one to go buy and then bring it back. So that's a really fun thing I think not a lot of people know about, but it's so useful and really helpful.
Jennifer, we've got a number of DIY related
Oh,
questions.
excellent. Hit me.
First one is, are you taking DIY donations?
So maybe. The best thing if we're the DIY collection, if you have something you're interested in donating, if you contact the library through our webpage and send us an email, and then the librarian in charge of the collection can work with you depending on what you want to donate. And I'll let you
Okay.
know if it's something we can take.
Is the DIY collection just at the Central Library, or are there parts of it all over?
There are parts of it all over. It is a collection that's usually not on the floor. So it's something, it's usually circulated through holds. So if you put a hold on it, then you can pick it up at any of our locations.
Okay. And you just answered the question, who determines what's in the collection? We have a suggestion for the DIY, which is fancy bundt cake pans. They're
Yeah, cake
expensive and you may use it once a year, and
cake
so
pans
that
are really hard because of the food safety issues involved. But I will pass that suggestion on.
okay. That's what we got.
Okay.
Oh, how do you find out what is in the DIY collection?
So it's on our website, and I actually have some slides later on that is going to show you exactly how to do that with
Great.
screenshots and everything. So I can take you step by step so you can definitely see that.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. All right. Anything else right now?
Nope.
Okay. As always, though, if you have your questions, please let us know. Okay. So the tool shed. This is just at Central right now, because it is a literal shed of tools. This picture is the actual tool shed. Uh, so the garden tools that we have are donated by Case Designs, Home Depot, and patrons. Right now, we are not accepting new donations for the tool shed. It's only open for part of the year, and we don't yet have the date of when it will be available this season, but keep an eye out for when the tool shed opens back up. And these are the things you use for your gardens, yards, and outdoor projects. So the items check out for 1 week. There aren't any renewals. This is an adult collection. You have to be an Arlington resident or property owner. You have to be over 18, and we do need a signed waiver form. And I think it's a different waiver form than the one we use for the hotspots. Um, and with this, we also ask that only the person who checked the tools out uses them. Because again, there are safety restrictions because we have things like tree trimmers and garden shears and pruners. So we're worried about the safety involved, but also hoses. So you need a garden hose, ladders, a reel mower to mow your lawn, rakes, shovels, a sprinkler, like an aerator. So, those yard projects that you really only do kind of once a year, especially Arlington. Not everyone has a lot of outdoor storage, so we're going to put all of your gardening supplies if you don't really have a yard. Our houses can be very small here. So you can come borrow it just for the week and then bring it back. We also ask that you clean the tools before you bring them back. So if you've been using one of our shovels, please make sure all the dirt and mud is off. So it's clean for the next person, and you can only have 5 tools checked out at a time. Um, And then we also have some things for kids for our youngest users. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of board games for kids in our board game collection, but we also have some things that are aimed really just at kids. Probably the one most people know about is our American Girl dolls. Um, the checkout for 1 week. If no one's waiting, you can renew them up to 3 times. There are no borrowing restrictions on them. This collection was started again with a generous support from the Friends of the Library. And we also get so many patron donations. I will tell you, if you have any historical American Girl doll or any of the official clothing for a historical American Girl doll, we will gladly, gladly, gladly take that donation. So much of this collection is through donations. It is our most popular collection in the entire library. It gets so much use. Currently, we have 19 different historical girls that circulate. We have multiple copies of each doll, so we have just under 100 dolls actively circulating right now. And as a sneak peek, this is not public information yet, but I'll let you all know we are adding another doll this summer. Kirsten Larson was one of the first dolls that American Girl launched, but she's been in the vault for a really long time, but she's out of the vault now, so we are able to add her to the collection, which is very exciting. The dolls circulate with a case. They have a book about their character. There's a care card on how to take care of the doll. And then also one of my favorite parts about this collection is our Center for Local History does a card all about what life was like in Arlington during the same time period as this historical doll, which is I like that. And then we also have nature backpacks. These are back this season. So the nature backpacks come from the State Library of Virginia. They contain a compass, a binoculars, field guides, a bug net, and a magnifying glass. They check out for a week. You cannot renew them. There are no borrowing restrictions on them. The best part about the nature backpack and is that it also has a parking pass to all of the Virginia state parks. So you can visit any state park in Virginia at no cost except for Natural Bridge and the Southwest Muse hang on. The Southwest Virginia Museum, just because those have a per person entry fee and not like a car entry fee. But the backpack does come with that pass. So you can go visit all of the state parks and then you have all the field guides you need for what you are exploring. Do you have any other questions right now?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay. Um, so as I've said a few times, when I say it's all on the website, so this is what our homepage looks like. And you can see up here where it says collections. If you click on that button, it'll take you to this screen and then you can click more to borrow and it has some of these collections listed here. So you can see like the DIY tools and the garden tools, the puzzles, the games. And so if you click on the DIY collection, it has all of the information you need about the borrowing rules and restrictions and kind of some of the things we have in there. But what you really want to click is the browse the DIY collection in the library catalog, because that will take you here to the catalog and this will have everything that we have in that collection. You can scroll through and see, and then you can also just place your holds immediately and it will show you where the item currently is. So if it's on the shelf at your local branch and you can see, these earmuffs we have one at Cherry. They're available to check out at Cherrydale and Courthouse. The crochet hooks are currently down at Aurora Hills, but you can place a hold on them and they'll go to whatever branch you like to pick your stuff up at. And then also, so this is if you clicked on the wireless hotspots for the um, on that collection page, you'll see here, this is also where the any li for the collections that need a signed waiver. We the library has them at the desk, so you can go and sign them, but you can also print them out, sign them right here on the website. Um, and then things you can't check out but are fun. We have a lot of programs you might not expect the library to have. Obviously, we have a lot of book clubs. We have a lot of author visits. We have a lot of story times, but we have a lot of other programs that you might not expect the library to have if you want to come and connect and learn. Um, so this is just kind of what the calendar looks like now. You'll see we have a DIY map magnet program that actually starts in about an hour and a half at Glencarlin. Um, and these are just some of the maker ones we have. We have workshops at our maker space at the shop to come. You can fix nearly everything that is where you can just bring any of your anything that's broken and needs fixing or mending, come in. We have a lot of tools and equipment and expertise to help you fix things. Um, so in addition to all of our crafting and making programs, we also have a bunch of game programs. Um, but some upcoming programs we have are text preparation, Latin dance classes, Memory Cafe, which is an ongoing program for people who are experiencing early stage memory loss. We have meditation, yoga, gardening, community tech support, resume help, songwriting, citizenship, artificial intelligence, a Wicked movie sing along. There's a jazz concert, a program about buying a house, a program about coffee, a program about Medicare, a program for adults to learn cool yo-yo tricks. We have conversation groups for people who are learning English, Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, French, Italian. And those are all just programs that are happening this month. Between now and April 30th, those are just some of the non-standard programs you might not expect the library to have. So I do encourage you, and those are all over the system. So some are here, some are at Central, some are at Glencarlin, some are at Cherrydale. There's all over the system. Um, one program that I want to highlight is happening on Saturday at the Central Library from 12 to 4, and this is our Human Library program. Um, This is a program that was originally developed at a library in Denmark and has kind of gone around the world, in which readers can check out a human book to engage in conversation and learn about other people's experiences and ask all those uncomfortable questions you've always wanted to know but were afraid of asking. Um, so some of the human books that you could check out at the program that is coming um, on Saturday at Central, you could, there's a non-speaking autistic person, someone who survived an accidental brain injury, a death doula, an organ transplant recipient, a trans person, um, someone experiencing uh, late in life deafness and hard of hearing, and also someone who was born with hard of hearing and hearing loss. So there's a bunch of different people coming. Um, you can check them out. You can place a hold on them if there's a line. They're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, and then you can start and ask questions and just learn about a lot of the different experiences of people here locally. Um, Also, I want to tell everyone about the shop. This is our in-house makerspace. This is at Central. And they have a lot of equipment that you can come use. We have a glow forge, we have 3D printers, sewing machines, a button maker. There are a lot of drop-in labs and classes. Some of the equipment you do need to be certified on, but we have regular classes to get certified on that. Like tonight, there's a certification class to use our glass kiln because obviously we want to make sure everyone knows how to use it safely. And in case, like, I don't know how to use a glass kiln. kiln, but it'd be pretty cool. So then I can do cool things with glass. So I'd have to take the certification, learn how to use it, and then I can come in and use it and make awesome things. So that is what I have for you guys today about all of our kind of non-standard and fun collections and services. It was a little shorter, but hopefully you guys have some questions. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can remember how to do that. There we go. Okay, I'm back.
I was going to ask, are the people available in the human library, does that change every month, or is it just a steady roster of the same people, or how does that
So
work?
this is a program that happens, it's an annual program. So it happens every year and it's some people are the same and some people change. It depends a lot on like who's available and who's still interested in participating. So it's a mix of repeats and new people.
Is that available at every county branch, or is it just at
No,
Central?
it's a program, so it's going to be at Central on Saturday from 12 to 4. We'll
Okay.
do it again next year too, so.
How popular is that?
We get pretty good turnout. We usually get a few hundred people coming.
Okay. And how do you identify the people that you're going to put in the human library? Are they volunteers, or do you, it's like, hey, I know somebody who might be good for this?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's volunteers, sometimes, it's people that the programming staff knows. Sometimes you're like, hey, it would be really interesting if we have someone with a specific experience and then we reach out to people. So it's a little bit of everything.
What new things would you like to add to the library of things?
That's a great question. I actually am not the person who decides what goes in the library of things. Um, but if you, honestly, we just added a ton of stuff. So I think right now we have everything that we want at the moment because we were able to just buy a bunch of stuff. So you'll see a lot of new stuff coming in because cataloging's been having fun. The Library of Things is always a fun challenge for our cataloging staff as I try to figure out where exactly you stick a barcode on a knitting needle and how you package it so things don't get broken or lost and how you describe it in the catalog. And it's a nice break from the books.
Got a comment here from somebody. They just said they love your app.
Oh, that's so great to hear. I will definitely let our IT people know that because they work very hard on that.
Okay. And Barbara has posted a link to the original concept for the human library in Denmark. So anybody that wants that can look in the chat. Um, there's a question here about when the shed is opening, and you
We
said previously you don't know yet what the
Yeah,
opening date.
we don't have the date yet, so just keep your eyes out.
Okay. Comment here: libraries have become so much more than just lending books. In Glen Carlin, their small library has speakers, musicians, very important to the neighborhood, and it's always under threat for being closed or as it's not as highly used as some of the other branches. But I have to say that I don't live there, but that's one of my favorite branches.
It is the cutest of all of our branches. I love the Glen Carlin Library, and their gardens are so amazing. And that's all with the Master Gardeners program. So that's one of the reasons why we get so many fun gardening programs is a lot of the branches are not a lot of them, but some of the branches have partnerships with the local Master Gardeners. It's most evident at Glen Carlin because those grounds are just gorgeous. And then here at the central location, we also have a nice garden by our plaza. And the nice thing about that garden is it's a food garden, and that food goes to AFAC to help feed food insecure individuals with fresh vegetables grown at the garden. And we do a lot of programming around that as well.
If somebody wants to help out with that gardening, Who do they contact? Do you know?
Um, that is actually a really good question. I would start, you know what, if you send in a comment form on the library, if you're ever wondering how to contact, that's a great one because they are really good at messaging out all the different people you can contact. The person who monitors that inbox is really good, and will also sometimes be like, "Hey," and like send it to multiple people. Like, who does this go to? Because yeah, I'm also not sure because I don't know also when they're going to start that garden up again because it's getting to be the season.
Yeah, and I know somebody that has worked in that garden for the last few years, and it doesn't look that big, but the amount of food they grow is just astounding.
Yeah,
Hundreds of pounds of fresh produce.
and just from a personal perspective, this window right behind my monitor actually overlooks that garden. So I get the very nice, pretty view. When I'm at my desk, I can look up and see, especially when they have the pretty flowers in there as well. And
And we got a question. Is the Columbia Pike branch going to be moved?
I know, I don't think we have any plans for that right now. We
Are there
did just do
any,
a really nice renovation on it.
uh, are there any kinds of programs that involve older adults and young people, storytelling, things like that?
There are definitely, I don't know of any off the top of my head. It can be hard sometimes just do the sheer amount of all the programming that happens. And I'm not an active programmer right now, so I'm a little bit removed. I do know that um, a lot of our board game sessions are designed to interact cross-generationally. And we do often sometimes have special one-off programs to promote cross-generational interaction.
Comment here, the Glen Carlin Library is also just steps away from the Ball Sellers House,
Mhm.
which is the oldest house in Arlington.
Yes.
So
And the Glen Carlin Library also has a member of the Carlin family buried on the grounds.
hmm,
And one of my favorite programs they used to do, I don't know if they still do anymore, is sometimes around Halloween, they would, some of the middle schoolers at Kenmore, which is right near there as well, would dress up and they would do like, they did a Poe garden. So kind of at dusk around Halloween, they'd stand in the garden and read poems and short stories by Edgar Allan Poe to get into the creepy spirit, which is always fun.
how does the library staff decide uh, which branch will host a particular program?
Usually it is hosted at wherever the librarian who wants to do the program is working. Um, so if we work at a particular location, like, oh, I want to do this program, and so we do it there. The exception being if it's going to be a program we think that needs a lot of space or have a very large audience, we will do those at Central just because we have the auditorium and the large meeting room. You can't have a program with hundreds of people like Glen Carlin because it's just physically too small.
And what's the process for deciding what programs you're going to offer?
That is, so we actually have we have like a programming and partnerships team that works together, but a lot of it is staff driven and programs that the staff are interested in doing, programs they've gotten requests to do from patrons. And it's a mix of talent and time and energy and but yeah.
Do you get way more program suggestions than you could possibly handle?
Yes, and also librarians have way more programming ideas than they can possibly do. I know, and I used to work at the Shirlington branch, and I was like, we should do this program, we should do that program, and I have all these ideas, and I was like, well, there's only 24 hours in a day, and the library's not open all 24 of those, because I would have ideas for like 30 hours of programming every day. So many ideas and fun things we could be doing. So we have to.
Next question is how do you keep track of all the working parts of the whole library system? How do you keep that, running smoothly?
Um, Time and dedication. We have a really good the library catalog, the back end is a giant database that tracks everything, which is really helpful. We have a lot of internal processes to move things between the branches and for us to communicate. One of the nice things about Arlington is geographically we're very small, so it's easy for us to work together across locations and meet up. And we get 2 deliveries a day during the week where the van goes out to all the different locations to pick up holds, drop off holds, but also all of those other moving bits behind the scenes. We get 1 delivery on Saturday and 2 a week. I used to work in Prince George's County, which is geographically significantly larger, and it was a lot harder for us to meet up, and we couldn't do that many deliveries just because we were much more spread out.
Okay, when somebody checks something back in
Mhm.
to the library of things, is there somebody in charge of inspecting it and making sure that it's not broken or, it's at the end of its usable lifetime or,
Yeah, so when a library of things is checked in, there's usually a note on the staff side of the catalog that says check for all these pieces, and we'll tell you what you need to check for. And they will check. Now, some of these things, like we're not experts. Not everyone is an expert in everything in the library of things, so we might miss something. So sometimes we will get something returned, and a patron will let us know if something's missing or broken. But we do try to catch that upon check-in. And then also we're like, oh, hey, like you're missing this knitting needle. Hopefully we can catch you. And you're like, oh, wait, yeah, let me go check my couch. That's where my knitting needles always end up when I can't find them. They're always in my couch. And then I sit on them and it hurts.
so somebody gets to count all 500 jigsaw puzzle pieces?
The puzzle pieces, I will say, do not get counted. We do
Okay.
we rely on patron feedback for the puzzle pieces.
Steve has posted a link to the book clubs at the at the library
Yeah, we have a
for
lot of
anybody
book
that's
clubs all through the
interested in,
system.
online or in-person book clubs. Has the policy of not charging for overdue books and other items been well received?
Yes.
Okay. And for the annual book sales,
Mhm.
you mentioned puzzles and books. Are there other things that you'll accept for the book sale, or is that pretty much it?
That's a question for their friends. The friends actually run the book sale. And so they know what they're interested in and what they accept. And
Mhm.
also, just as a reminder, so we have the really big annual book sale. We just did that this weekend, but each location has an ongoing book sale year round in a little
Mhm.
small store. So they're always accepting donations. There's always things to buy. And then twice a year, we will get the really, really big one together. But we always have
And if
small ongoing ones,
somebody
and that's at all locations.
if somebody wants to contact the friends, what's the best way to do that?
Let me get you an email address. Let me look that up real quick for you. Uh, So I will drop the link to their site in the chat. That is their website.
Right?
And then
And we've got a related question.
here is their contact form.
What do you do with all the books that don't get sold at the big book sale?
That's another question for the friends. They do all of because they handle all of that. And I also know they have sellers. They sell things not just at the book sale. They work with outside buyers and outside vendors as well. So it's not just us.
Right? Do you have any concerns about staff reductions at the library?
We're just waiting to see what the budget gets passed. We're in the middle of budget season right now with the county board, and we're waiting to see. I think
How
right
well
now we
staffed?
are. I think the proposed budget eliminated 1.5 positions, and those were both retirements. They and that those positions will not be filled. is what was proposed. So we'll see.
How well staffed are you right now? Are you short-handed or pretty well staffed?
I think we're okay. There has been a big thing we noticed in the pandemic that we do rely a lot on our temporary subs. And we have been working over the last few years to get some of those positions converted into full-time permanent positions. So we're working with the board on that.
A related question, do you take on volunteers for some things?
Oh, yes. Yes, we are heavily reliant on our volunteers. We have volunteers at all locations, and they do a really wide variety of tasks and jobs for us, depending on talents and desires and when they're around, everything from shelving books to pulling holds to the gardens, getting things ready for story time, helping with crowd control sometimes during summer reading and counting heads, wide variety of tasks. Yeah, so if you're interested in volunteering, thank you so much. We desperately, like I said, we rely heavily on our volunteers, and so just go and ask the location you're interested at volunteering at, and they can walk you through the process, tell you what they need at their location, see what your interests are.
Going back to the DIY collection,
Yeah.
can we suggest a tool that's not currently in the collection but would be useful for occasional use?
Yes,
Are
definitely.
there
I mean, as with everything in the library, we are here to serve the Arlington community. And so we always want you guys to tell us what you need so we know what to get. Yeah, so if you on the website there's a contact form, you can put that in and be like, hey, here's a great thing, and our librarian will look at it and put it on her list of things to possibly add to the collection.
are there any general guidelines like price limits or you know safety considerations or anything like that?
Um, Not that I know of. I'm not
Right?
going to say there aren't. I don't know of any though.
Yep. Somebody said handheld electric saw. They will submit that.
Okay. I
So
will say,
watch for it.
if we do add that, then there will be lending restrictions on the DIY collection. That will start requiring a waiver because I just have images of my 8-year-old coming and checking out a saw and
Yeah.
creating mischief.
Do you have soldering irons in the DIY collection? You know?
I don't know, but I do believe we have those in the makerspace.
Yeah. Now, do you still do weekly orientations to the makerspace? It used to be one day a week you could come in and kind of tour it and meet the people that support the users.
Um, we do have a, it looks like we don't have a soldering iron. I will add that to the list of things. Let me check the makerspace programs that they have right now. You can always come into the drop-in lab and they will definitely show you everything and introduce you to stuff. And we do have orientations for specific things, but let me see what we have for drop-in.
Years ago, Arlington Neighborhood Village got a tour of the makerspace. Is that something we could arrange to do again?
Yes,
Okay.
the maker librarians love to give tours.
All right. Well,
They love
events
to
committee meets
show,
this afternoon, so
yeah, they love to show what they have. They love to get people involved. Um, and they're so excited about everything they do there. So they love to give tours.
all right. Besides AFAC, What other organizations in Arlington do you partner with or would like to partner with?
Oh, we partner with a lot, obviously, with all the other county departments like Parks and Rec and transportation. I actually did a fun series of videos for the buses recommending books to read on your commute, which was really fun. Um, we do a lot with some of the senior living facilities in Arlington. We do affordable housing, their partnerships. We actually have, I don't know, like, I don't even know everyone we partner with. It's a lot of people, and I'm not sure who we like to partner with that we don't already. We do have a whole partnership team that does a lot of those. But if there's a organization you're interested that you work with that you like to partner the library with, like I said, do fill out that contact form, and one of our partnership librarians will be in touch and let you know.
Okay. I'll point out that Steve has posted a link to volunteer opportunities at the library.
Excellent.
So, anybody that's interested, there you go.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to let you all know, in case you don't know, of our books by mail service and our talking book service. So, books by mail is for anyone who is unable to get to the library, like if they can't leave their house. So, if you're sick or housebound, or you've broken your leg or something, and we will mail you books. And it comes in a prepaid envelope, so you can mail them back to us when you're done. And that can be where the librarian, if you have like a holds list of things you want to read, they'll just grab what's on your list, or you can tell them what you're interested in, and they will pick books out for you and send them.
Is Jennifer Odlum still at the library?
Yes, she's part of our programs and partnership team. She's doing a lot with the Human Library that's coming up this weekend. We've been working with her.
So, one thing we kind of skipped over at the beginning is your background in history.
Oh,
How did you get to where you are today?
so I was placed in my college library for my work study program. And I really liked my job, and I liked what my boss was doing. I was like, I could do that. So we moved out to the Washington area in 2005. We moved to Arlington in 2006. I was with Prince George's County Libraries as a children's librarian for about 8 years. I've been in Arlington Public Library for 12 years now. I started as the children's librarian at Cherrydale, and then I was the manager at Cherrydale, and I was the manager at Shirlington for a few years. And I've been here in collection development as the collection engagement librarian since 2017. So, yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions or comments?
If not, we can close out the session and
Okay.
give people 6 minutes to do something else. Go have another cup of coffee or go do whatever else they want to do. So Jennifer, this was really great. I know that Jennifer also is involved with a lot of older adult kinds of activities.
Mhm.
And so that's how, both in terms of ANV, and I used to be on the Commission on Aging. And so I was just wondering if she was still over at the library.
She is, like I said, she's part of our partnership team. So she does a lot of working with all of those partnerships and putting everything into place. So she's definitely still around.
Well, give her our regards.
I will
She,
definitely do that. Thank you
she
guys so
was,
much for having me. It was great to talk to you. And like I said, if you have any other questions or ideas or anything else, if you go to our website, scroll all the way to the bottom, there's like a contact us, and fill that out, and it will get to the right person, because there are a lot of us with all different things. So
well,
that's always the best way.
the Arlington library system is fabulous, and
Thank you.
obviously your presentation was reflected that. And so if you can't find something, I know there's always lots of people there to help. So I congratulate the system. I mean, it's well liked and the accolades are well deserved. So
Thank you so much.
okay.
All
So,
right.
well, it's the 10:56, and just remind you, next week we're going to have the person who unfortunately did not show up a couple weeks ago. He, I think, got confused in terms of the time, but I'm sure Sean will be with us next week. He's the state director of the Virginia Senior Medicare Patrol and talk about all of the issues that sometimes occur in connection with scams with Medicare. So Sean will give a good presentation, I'm sure. And of course, as usual, and Coffee and Conversation starts at 10 o'clock on April 16th, a week from today. So have a good week, and we'll see you then.
All right. I will keep this up for a few more minutes for anybody that wants to copy any of the links off of the chat. But otherwise, feel free to jump off if you're done.
Okay. Thank you, Gary, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Carolyn. Goodbye, everybody.